Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Rockford SWAT team surrounds a house as they investigate an afternoon shooting. We have the latest from the scene.
State line school districts get back to class soon if they aren't already. One shows how it's been forced to get creative to deal with a staff shortage.
And more environmentally friendly buses will come to the state line. The RMTD receives a large grant to make it happen. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. We begin with breaking news out of Rockford.
Police confirm a shooting just after 1 this afternoon on South 5th Street and 3rd Avenue. We're told a juvenile male and adult female have serious injuries. Our Amory Wilder is live from the scene where there's currently a barricade situation. Amory, what's the scene look like right now?
Eric, Mimi, right now we don't have much information about what transpired, but what we do know is that the crime scene started at one block and ended at another. About a dozen police cars set up at the intersection of 4th Avenue and 4th Street before extending the crime scene tape. They also brought out police K-9s. Meanwhile, the SWAT team was posted at a house on 4th Street and 2nd Avenue. Witnesses could hear them instructing whoever is held up in that house to come out with their hands up over a speaker. This is a very active situation. We'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. Reporting live in Rockford for your home team, I'm Amory Wilder.
Emery, thanks for that report. One person's hurt after a shooting over the weekend in Rockford. Police were called to the hospital for a walk-in shooting victim early Sunday morning. The 21-year-old said he was walking on North Rockton when a 17 or 18-year-old man shot him after some sort of argument. The man was hit in the back. He's expected to be okay. No one's been arrested. If you know anything about what happened, call Rockford Police or Crime Stoppers. Man's also recovering after getting stabbed early Saturday morning. That happened on North Church Street near Haskell Park. When police arrived, a 34-year-old man advised them an unknown woman was in his apartment. The man then confronted the intruder, who stabbed him and sprayed him with mace. She then took off. He was treated at a local hospital with a small cut to his wrist. If you know anything about this incident, call Rockford Police or Crime Stoppers.
Highland Park City Council unanimously approves a resolution calling for state and federal action on assault weapons and related gear. The resolution urges lawmakers in Springfield and Washington to ban the manufacture, purchase, sale, possession, and use of semi-automatic weapons, high-capacity ammunition cartridges and magazines, and body armor. Activists have been working around the clock since the July 4th massacre at Highland Park's parade.
The U.S. Senate needs to vote on the assault weapons ban that's currently sitting on their desks. And here in Illinois, we're hoping to see a comprehensive package of gun violence prevention legislation that passes this winter.
Highland Park has had its own assault weapons ban in place since 2013. State line students are headed back to class, and in Freeport, the district is still dealing with a shortage of staff.
Nikel Delgado sat down with administrators today. Nikel, what is the district looking at to help solve the problem?
That's right, Eric and Mimi. The past couple of school years have been hard nationwide with the teacher shortage. Freeport was no different. The staff tells me instead of having a long-term substitute, they've combined their math and science classes.
Everyone who has passion for what they do, for the kids, serving the community, trying to make a difference, providing guidance, things as such.
World history high school teacher Julius Legrone has been in the Freeport district for 5 years. He says the secret to having a long career as a teacher is having a passion for the students. Mr. Legrone says it's unfortunate, but there is a shortage in every area. But the biggest focus is the kids we have right now.
The only thing we can control is coming in and serving the kids that are put in front of us. We're just focused on doing it the best we can.
Freeport High School principal Dr. Beth Summers says the district as a whole has been future focused on how to grow the teaching profession through education pathways.
We do have a student teacher in math this fall, for example. So we collapsed our math classes for the fall semester, and then we're going to spread them out in the spring semester when that student teacher becomes a full-time staff member. We had a science teacher who wasn't able to join us this fall, and so we collapsed a couple of science classes and made that work.
Freeport High School has taken 3 of their secretaries who already had degrees with a passion for students and helped them develop into full-time teaching staff.
So I think when you're creative and you're willing to look at all the possibilities and do what's right for kids, put good teachers in front of them, we're able to staff the building well this fall.
Both Dr. Summers and Mr. Legrone are excited for what the year holds and what future educators come from the Freeport area.
It'll feel worth it, even if it's only a few kids that you really feel attached to. That's fine. Just keep working, keep going, and eventually, those seeds you plant, they will grow, even if you don't see.
There are still many teacher, paraprofessionals, and other staff positions open across the state line. Eric?
Thanks, Nikel. The City of Rockford's mayor's office is holding a community resource fair tomorrow. City Hall says this is a direct result of a community listening session a few months ago.
We have so many barriers and gaps to even getting basic resources that it really can become a challenge. And so it's really important to us to go into the communities, meet people again where they are, and give them just a little bit of a helping hand to get connected to the resources so that they can take the next steps towards their own progress and goals.
The event takes place at the Boys and Girls Club in Rockford, runs from 11 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. 24 agencies and organizations will be on hand to assist people with anything from employment to housing to mental health. If you go and are looking for a job, bring a resume. We're learning more about how Rockford Mass Transit will spend a $6 million federal grant.
The money will go towards battery and hybrid buses. These will replace their 2009 diesel buses. The Transit District says those are the oldest vehicles in the fleet, with an average of over 450,000 miles per bus. RMTD has a goal of transitioning to a zero-emissions fleet by 2036. These 6 new buses mean about 2/3 of the fleet will be either hybrid or battery. Millions of Americans consumed by hearing aids online and in stores without a prescription.
The FDA issued a final rule today. Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor shows us which patients could buy the devices in a couple of months.
Think of the FDA's new move to offer over-the-counter hearing aids to adults like readers, which are easily obtainable without a prescription.
It won't be the only solution or the best solution for everybody, just like is true for glasses. But I think that it's a way to get started, and that's a barrier that we really have to overcome.
The FDA found about 30 million Americans experience hearing loss, but because of expensive exams and devices, only about 1/5 of them get help. Dr. Sarah Sidlowski, the president of the American Academy of Audiology, hopes this new rule changes that.
It's not something to put off. It's not something to attribute to aging. It's something to take action about.
Starting in 60 days, adults with mild to moderate hearing loss can bypass a doctor for over-the-counter hearing aids. But those younger than 18 or with severe hearing loss still need a prescription for their devices.
My recommendation as an audiologist would still be that best practice is to get your hearing checked.
Current and former administrations, along with bipartisan groups in Congress, have been pushing for this change to allow patients to better shop around for the best deal.
Every American has a right to receive affordable health care.
Vice President Kamala Harris estimates consumers will save at least $2,800 per pair of hearing aids, as the new rule boosts competition and innovation. The FDA says device makers are largely ready to launch new products when the new rule takes effect in mid-October. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
First Lady Jill Biden tests positive for COVID. She's got mild symptoms and is taking the drug Paxlovid. She's isolating at a private residence. Her upcoming trip to Disney World for a Joining Forces initiative for military families was canceled. The First Lady started noticing symptoms yesterday. President Biden tested negative for COVID today, but he'll wear a mask for 10 days while indoors and in close proximity to others. He just recovered from a rebound case 9 days ago.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, get out and enjoy the rest of this evening because it is going to be gorgeous out there. Live look with our SkyTrack camera now out in Freeport at the Park Hills Golf Course. While we had a little fog out early this morning, skies, they were quick to turn partly cloudy. Just some fair weather cumulus clouds kind of popping up here late this morning and throughout the afternoon. But our skies, they will clear out here as we go through the night tonight. Temperatures, they've been warm. We've actually been right where we should be for the 16th here of August. driest, but comfortable for the most part as we've maintained that breeze coming in from the east and northeast. 79 right now in Freeport, 80 in Rockford, 78 in Rochelle and DeKalb, and 81 degrees our current temperature in Janesville. We've actually got a couple days and nights that are going to stay fairly comfortable as those overnight lows drop down into the 50s, and then the afternoon climbs into the low 80s. So a nice little range from start to end here for Wednesday. Same thing for Thursday. Reason being why those temperatures will kind of see that spread throughout the morning and afternoon because of these dew point numbers that are in the 50s right now. So plenty of dry air and kind of a difference from where we've been these last couple of days. Even though we haven't had a big rise in our temperatures, the moisture has been up, but we are now getting that drier air to work in as high pressure slides closer to us. And that is kind of a big factor to make it feel a little bit more comfortable out there, which has brought down that relative humidity. And you know, with our temperatures falling into the 50s at night and those afternoon highs getting into the low 80s, you get that big temperature range. Reason why, as I mentioned, because we have that dry air. Dry air is able to heat up a little more efficiently versus air that has moisture in it. That's because the air molecules that we have all around us as we start to heat things up, they move around, they get really vigorous and excited, and then we heat things up. When you have more moisture in the atmosphere, those air molecules, that water vapor just doesn't move as fast. Kind of like when you eat a big Thanksgiving dinner. You're not as quick to move after that. So the air molecules, they don't move around as freely, and our temperatures usually don't climb as much. So we don't see much of a range between where we start off at in the morning versus where we end up at for the afternoon. By the end of the week, though, we add in a little more moisture, and that'll start to bring back some of that humidity and a few shower chances as we get into the weekend. High pressure continues to build in. We've got clearing skies actually working in from east to west, and that'll be somewhat the trend here as we go through the night tonight. Temperatures will drop down into the mid and even upper 50s. Now, our winds will turn light tonight, so watch for some fog. Some low-lying areas, maybe places more out in the country, could end up with a little more dense fog tomorrow morning, but that should be quick to burn off for the afternoon. Now, like today, we see some of those clouds kind of build up, those cumulus clouds build. We do add in a little more moisture up above, not down here at the surface, but up above. So with that, we may be able to fire off maybe a sprinkle or a very light shower, but overall coverage is going to stay very, very low for us tomorrow afternoon. We are back down into the 50s tomorrow night. Our winds begin to shift a little more to the south on Thursday, so that does bring up some of that humidity, but for the most part, we should stay dry. Next chance for rain comes in once we get into Friday afternoon. So 56 degrees for us tonight. Temperature tomorrow very similar to where we were today. Low 80s, and that'll carry us into our Thursday. So a nice start to the Winnebago County Fair. Just have to watch the weekend, guys, because we could see some showers and even some thunderstorms. Temperatures dip down a little, back into the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees.
Now sports with sports director Scott Leber.
The Packers broke out of their training camp routine today to practice with the New Orleans Saints. They were both at Ray Nitschke Field. The two teams didn't hold any one-on-one drills. They were trying to avoid tempers flaring and turning into fights. But there was plenty of trash talking between the teams. The defenses dominated, especially the Packers' defense. The front seven put a strong pass rush on Andy Dalton. He took the snaps because Jameis Winston is nursing a foot injury. NFL officials were also there. The combination of the officials and the Saints sharpened the Packers' focus.
Getting a different look is important because a lot of these, it sounds like there's a lot of game planning that's going on, prior to these practices. So it really forces you to hone in on your rules and follow your rules as a player. Just kind of stay sharp on what your rules and responsibilities are.
Harlem graduate Josh Black is with the Saints trying to make the team. He survived the first wave of roster cuts today around the NFL. The Saints cut 10 players. Black was not one of them. He signed with the Saints as an undrafted free agent. I want to talk about an athlete who won't quit. That's NIU senior linebacker Kyle Pugh. He's in his 7th season at NIU. That's right, 7th. Some major injuries cost him all or the better parts of 3 seasons, giving him some medical redshirt years. Plus, like all college athletes, Pugh got an extra COVID year. He first suited up for the Huskies back in 2016. Some people thought he should just walk away and move on with his life, but Pugh told me he wants to be a part of this NIU program.
This culture is contagious. I've been blessed to kind of grow up as a man in this culture, and I just really would like to be a part of the benefits of the success that they're going to have.
I have two more high school football two-day previews coming your way this evening. At 6 o'clock, we'll get our first look at the Dakota Indians. At 9 and 10, we'll check out the East E-Rabs. White Sox be in action tonight against the Astros. Great pitching matchup in that one between Cy Young candidates Dylan Cease and Justin Verlander. And the Cubs will take on the Nationals. The NBA will go silent on Election Day this fall. The league won't stage any games on November the 8th. It wants fans to get out and vote. NBA teams will be sharing information about voter registration and voting locations on their websites leading up to that day.
Candace will have a final look at weather in a moment.
First, here's a preview of what's happening over at News Nation.
Tonight on Banfield, on the heels of a damning FBI report, Alec Baldwin opens up to News Nation's Chris Cuomo about the tragic shooting on the movie set of Rust.
Doing this with you is a miracle. I don't want to talk to anybody anymore.
Plus, who does he really think is to blame for the death of the cinematographer? And hear what he thinks of Donald Trump, who accused him of shooting his colleague on purpose.
His son made T-shirts that they sold on a website.
That's tonight on Banfield on News Nation.
That's coming up tonight on the fastest growing cable news network in America, News Nation. It's available on the cable and satellite stations you see here. You can also head to newsnation.com.
Skies are clearing out here for us this evening. The first warn interactive radar will stay dry. Watch for some areas of fog tomorrow morning. Temperatures comfortable down into the mid and upper 50s. We'll warm back into the upper 70s, low 80s for tomorrow afternoon. So very similar to what we had today. Only difference is you may get a quick sprinkle or two there late tomorrow afternoon. We bring back a chance for rain though by the weekend.
All right. Thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.